Ha! Finally kicked the bucket, huh? Don't say things like that here. At my father's funeral, such unbelievable words are spoken. To be honest, I never liked him. Must have been tough on the employees too. Stop it. There are other people here. What? You're the one who should stop. Always looking down on me. This is the problem with you high-class ladies. I never once looked down on my husband like that, even before we were married. I worked hard at cooking and cleaning, even though I wasn't good at them, all for my husband. Yet. Speaking of which, the inheritance is what, $14 million? I'm taking that. You have no right to object. It's just menial tasks anyway. He might think that now. He'll regret it soon enough. Hey. Are you listening? If you don't like it, we're getting a divorce, he says, throwing the divorce papers at me. Of all times, he's prepared now. The grin on his face, thinking I can't possibly divorce him. But he's underestimating me. I don't mind. My husband's mouth falls open in shock. I leave the funeral home just like that. You'll regret this. You're a woman who can't do anything. Well, we'll see who'll regret this. I immediately file the divorce papers and get divorced. Then I head straight for my husband's company. Without any hesitation, I walk straight to the CEO's office and fling open the door. My husband doesn't know that I am the CEO of a company with 5,000 employees. Cancel all transactions. With those words, my husband's world crumbles. I'm Kaya, just turned 26 recently. I met Tony, my husband, through my father's introduction. At first, he seemed like a very rational and good young man. Kaya, I've finally found the perfect guy for you. Drunk again, huh? I can find my own partner, thank you very much. My dad loves his booze and comes home drunk almost every night. There was a time he introduced me to some guy when he was drunk, whose background was totally unknown to me. I figured this time would be no different. You're still mad about before. Then. But this time it's different. He seems pretty confident for some reason. When he's sober, he has a good eye for people, but it seems to get clouded once he starts drinking. No matter how many times I refuse, Dad keeps pushing this guy on me. But I had my thoughts. I was too optimistic. For the next week, whenever he had a chance, he'd ask me to meet the guy. Please, enough! I have no intention of meeting him. Just do this for me. I promise you won't regret it. Once my dad decides on something, he sees it through, no matter what. He's stubborn by nature. That's probably how he's made it to CEO of a major company with 5,000 employees. I'm not one to back down either. I've definitely inherited my father's stubbornness. After going back and forth like this for a while, my mom, who couldn't stand it anymore, stepped in. Why not just meet him once? Mom too. Typical mom. You know Dad won't give up. But think about it. Has he ever been this persistent about introducing someone to you? When I think about it, he really hasn't pushed someone like this before. You have an idea, right? Of course, we wouldn't just let our precious daughter meet someone blindly. You know what'll happen if he turns out to be strange, right? Mom's smiling pleasantly, but Dad, who knows her true nature, can't argue with her. Mom's polite now, but apparently, she wasn't like that when she first met Dad. She was quite the rebel. Meeting Dad changed her. Well, she still scolds Dad in a strong tone sometimes. Yeah, I get that. So, what are you gonna do about Kaya? Ultimately, it's up to you. I really struggled because I understood what Mom was saying. All right. I'll meet this guy Dad's talking about. That's great. I'm glad you said that. Let's arrange a meeting right away. Dad moves fast, and a meeting with the guy was set for 2 days later. I could learn from his initiative. And the day of the meeting arrived. I met this guy at a bar he frequently visits. I had been there during my student days, but it had been a while, and I was a bit excited. "Ah. There you are." He noticed us too and raised his hand. He looked well-dressed and seemed very polite. "Sorry we're late. This is Kaya, the daughter I told you about." "My name is Kaya. My dad speaks very highly of you." "I'm Tyler." "The pleasure has been all mine." We talked over drinks, and I hadn't had this much fun in a while. He was interesting, and I found myself getting drawn into the conversation. I could see why Dad liked him. "So, Tyler, it turns out he's quite capable." Just when we were looking for a new contractor, Tyler's company seemed like a perfect fit. He became our point of contact. "And you went through with the contract?" "Yeah, that's about it. Actually, we're the ones who are grateful. It even helped me get a promotion." I could definitely trust Tyler. If I were in the same position, I might have done the same. We continued to hit it off, talking about work and making lighthearted small talk. Dad was quite drunk and started saying outrageous things. "Kaya's got that whole ladylike vibe, doesn't she? That's why I want Tyler to teach her a thing or two." "Hey, Dad." "And she's a bit naive about the world." Then, Dad face-planted onto the table and fell asleep. I sighed, and Tyler started to laugh. "What's up?" "No, just realizing you have your hands full with him." "It's not just having my hands full. I'm always being dragged into something." "I see." Talking to men usually made me cautious, but with Tyler, I felt like I could be myself. "If it's okay with you, would you like to meet up again?" Yes." I found myself answering naturally. In the end, Dad didn't wake up, and Tyler ended up carrying him home. It was nearly midnight by then. "I'm home." "Welcome back." "Drunk again, oh dear." Mom looked exasperated. "Well, I'll be off then." "Wait. It's late, why don't you stay the night?" "Mom. There's a room available." "Kaya, show him to the guest room." "Oh, okay." I led Tyler to the guest room. "Sorry for all this." "No, Mom's just fond of taking care of people." "Right this way, please." "Thank you." And so, I returned to the living room. There, to my surprise, was Dad, who I thought was passed out drunk just moments ago. Usually, once he's out, nothing can wake him. "Dad. You were awake?" "Since we were at the bar." "Pretending to sleep?" "Correct. I thought I'd let you two talk. Plus, you seem to get along well. You're gonna meet him again, right? You heard all that?" It felt like I was dancing on the palm of Dad's hand, not quite satisfied with the situation, but I felt something different with Tyler than I had with any other man before. "Then that's great." "Yeah. That's right. Did you show him where the bathroom and everything are?" "Oh. Then, take this towel to him and show him around." As I approached the guest room, I could hear a voice from inside. "It's okay. I can handle it. This will make Mom's life easier." It sounded like he was on the phone. "Don't hold back. After all, she seems like quite the lady, easy to sway, leave it to me." I realized I had overheard something I shouldn't have. As I knocked on the door, I regretted it. But it was too late. Tyler came out. "Is something wrong?" Mom asked me to bring you a towel. And to show you where the bathroom and such are." "Is that so?" "Thank you for going out of your way." Tyler's face was utterly normal. Was what I heard just a figment of my imagination? Still, I couldn't possibly ask him directly. As days went by, I had forgotten all about that incident. Little did I know, it would lead to something unimaginable. Later on, I ended up going on a date with Tyler. He was a perfect gentleman, always looking out for me. Given my limited experience with men, it was natural for me to be drawn to him. "By the way, Kaya, you work in an administrative role, right?" "Yes. Though I guess you could say my dad kind of pushed me into it." "I see. So, you might become the boss someday? I couldn't possibly handle that. At that moment, Tyler had an indescribable expression. A mix of disappointment, perhaps. The subject is changing, but you don't have to be so polite with me. Oh, sorry. I've had a lot of interaction with my elders, so it's hard to shake the habit. Then, it can't be helped. But, you don't need to be formal with me. Understood. Oh, got it. We went on several dates after that. Eventually, Tyler proposed to me to marry him. Of course, I was surprised, but by that time, I couldn't imagine being without him. I'm so happy. If I'm good enough for you. I want you, Kaya. We immediately reported to my dad. So, I'm obviously all for this marriage. I think it's wonderful too. Thank you. I promise to make Kaya happy. I'm entrusting my daughter to you. Tyler. Yes? Kaya is our precious only daughter. We've raised her with all the care in the world. Keep that in mind, please. At that moment, there was a fierceness in Mom's face. No one could have opposed her if she spoke like that. Tyler seemed to feel the tension too. Kaya's mom is kind of intimidating, huh? My mom was a bit of a wild child when she was younger, and even Dad doesn't stand a chance against her. Really, I guess I'll have to be careful then. What happens when she gets mad? Probably no one can handle her. Later, we went to Tyler's family home to greet them. His father had passed away when Tyler was in elementary school, and he was raised by his mother. Nice to meet you. I'm Kaya Turner. I'm planning to marry her, you know. So, Kaya, my son has told me wonderful things about you. I still have a lot to learn. Please take good care of my son. Yes. The greeting went smoothly, but something bothered me. Throughout, his mother barely made eye contact with me. She seemed like she wanted to say something to me the whole time. Now we can finally become husband and wife. Yeah. I'll make sure you're happy. On our way back, we submitted our marriage certificate, and we became husband and wife. For our wedding gift, my parents gave us a condo to live in. To think we could live in a place like this. I can't thank your father enough. And so, our married life began. I wasn't confident in household chores, but thanks to Tyler's support, my anxiety gradually faded. I had no doubt that we would eventually have children and build a happy family. However, that belief would soon crumble due to a certain event. It was just 3 months after we got married when I got a call from my mom saying Dad had been hospitalized. According to her, it was due to years of drinking. Dad! Oh, you made it. Anyone would come if they heard you were hospitalized. My liver's in pretty bad shape, apparently. I kept telling you to be careful. Anyway, are you here alone today? Tyler had to go to work. I see. His job must be getting tougher now that he's moved up. How's married life? Good. He's been really kind to me. I keep messing up with chores, but he's patient. Then, I made the right call introducing you two. I had been visiting Dad regularly, but Tyler, despite my invitations, never came, citing work as the reason. About a month after Dad's hospitalization, Tyler, who had been so kind before, started to become distant. Going to the hospital today? Sorry, I can't today. There's something I absolutely have to do. I'm sorry, but could you go alone? I get that, but could you try to make even a little time? Didn't you hear me? I said I'm busy. I'm sorry. I was confused because I'd never been treated so harshly before. I thought maybe I did something wrong but couldn't find an answer. Trying to find out the reason seemed to only irritate Tyler more. Why don't you think for yourself? I have, but I just can't figure it out. Tyler sighed, apparently exasperated. I've been meaning to say this, but can you stop with the formal speech? It's annoying. But you said it was okay. I don't know if you're some lady or what, but it's creepy. That's harsh. And your cooking is awful, and you can't even clean properly. It felt like he was denying everything about me, and tears naturally started to flow. Don't cry over this. Do you think crying will solve anything? I didn't mean to. Just go away for a while. I headed to my dad's place as if running away. Wiping away my tears, I opened the door to his hospital room, but Dad wasn't there. It seemed Dad couldn't stay put. I asked a nurse for his whereabouts and was told he might be in the lounge at this time. When I got there, Dad was happily chatting with people of various ages. His inherent brightness and approachable nature had made him popular among the other patients. Dad? HM? Your eyes are red, what happened? Nothing. Let's move to my room for now. Okay. Back in the room, I didn't know what to say. Have you been crying? I couldn't find the words. Tyler didn't come today either, did that upset you? Not at all, that's not it. Actually. Dad started to say something but then stopped. Anyway, if something's bothering you, you can talk to me or your mom, okay? Yeah. Dad said that, but I couldn't possibly confide in them. I was embarrassed, but more than that, I felt it was too soon in our marriage to be having problems. After saying goodbye to Dad, I went home. Back already? How's your father doing? I thought Tyler would at least be concerned. When I told Tyler that Dad was doing fine. Oh, he's okay then? Tyler's reaction was nothing like I had imagined. Far from being worried, he seemed almost annoyed. Why would you say that? I felt like crying again. Crying again? Parents die eventually. It's just a matter of time. I was speechless. To think that someone could say such a thing so casually. The kind Tyler I knew was nowhere to be found. Can't be bothered talking to you, let's just leave it. Wait a minute, please. Tyler ignored me and went somewhere. Why do I have to be treated this way? After that, Tyler no longer held back. What's this? I made beef stew because you said you wanted to eat it before. At that time, I must have been blind. I tried learning how to cook. No matter how harshly I was criticized, somewhere I believed that the kind Tyler would return. Are you making a fool of me? There's no way I can eat this. Suddenly, Tyler stood up, plate in hand, and walked to the kitchen. Then, right in front of me, he threw it in the trash. I'd rather have a store meal than this. Who could have imagined it would come to this? Amidst my plummeting spirits, my only solace was my dad. I think Dad had a pretty good idea of what was happening to me from the last time I visited him in the hospital. Yet, he never brought it up. As I was thinking about going home. Kaya, you don't have to worry about anything. What do you mean? Just do what you want to do. Okay. Dad's condition took a turn for the worse 3 days later. Your father's condition is not good, you should come to the hospital too. I was at work but managed to get permission to leave early and headed to the hospital. Entering the room, my dad lay in bed, motionless. The doctor said I should be prepared for the worst. My mind went blank. Just recently, Dad seemed fine, but now he couldn't even talk. I told Tyler, but he showed no reaction. It was the first time I truly realized it was all coming to an end. 2 days after being told to prepare myself, I was at the hospital. Dad, can you hear me? Dad's life was hanging by a thread. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if my voice was reaching him. Yet, I kept talking to him. Then, he slowly opened his eyes. Dad! It's me, Kaya! He desperately reached out his hand towards me. I took his hand and held it firmly. Dad's hand was cold, almost making me wonder if he was really alive. Kaya. I'm sorry. It was a voice so faint I could barely hear it. That would be the last thing I heard from my dad. I never understood why he apologized. No tears came out, as if they had dried up. Kaya. Even my mom, who usually doesn't show her tears, was crying hard. Surprisingly calm, I immediately called Tyler. What? Dad just passed away. So, he finally died, he said and started laughing loudly. Are you serious? It's no joke. If that's all, I'm hanging up. The call ended. Something wrong? I just called Tyler, but... Despite having cried moments ago, my mom's expression turned ferocious. He really did it now. Inspired by my mom, not only did I harbor anger and hatred towards Tyler, but my way of speaking began to change as well. Kaya! Yes! I stood up straight without thinking. Do you understand what I want to say? I shook my head. You're going to tell me everything that's been going on, right? Understood. Mom must have sensed that other things were happening too, just like Dad did. There was no hiding it anymore. After saying goodbye to Dad, we moved to the lobby where I explained everything that had happened. As I spoke, my mom's expression grew more and more terrifying. Even people around us started to distance themselves, as if they were afraid of her. That man is unbelievable. What should we do about him? What can I do? We'll make him experience hell. Can I really do that to Tyler? There's no need to address such a man with respect. After that, I stayed at my parents' house, preparing for the funeral with my mom, but Tyler never answered his phone. Furthermore, he had apparently taken leave from work. It was the day before the funeral. A lawyer came to our home. It seems we were going to open Dad's will. Let's proceed with opening the will. Yes. I was instantly tense, wondering what the will would contain. The will seemed to have several pages. The first page stated that my mom and I would inherit the house and the estate. So, I'm to protect this house, that's it. But, are you okay doing this alone? Leave it to me. Who do you think I am? Right. And what about the second page? Yes, the second page is for you, Kaya. For me? Let's see. I was shocked by the first sentence. Incredibly, it was written there that my dad was passing on the presidency of his company to me. Why me? Your dad must have recognized your abilities. But this is too much for me. You can do it. After all, you're the daughter of your dad and me. If my dad believed in me, I had no choice but to live up to that belief. I'll do what I can. Further reading revealed an apology for introducing Tyler to me. I understood that this was what Dad was apologizing for in the hospital room. He never thought that man would turn out like that. Maybe it would have been better if I had been stronger. It's not your fault, Kaya. You don't have to belittle yourself. Thank you. Then the lawyer spoke up, looking somewhat apologetic. Actually, there's one more page. There's more? As my mom read the last page, she suddenly started to laugh. I see. He thinks of some pretty outrageous things. Can I see? Sure, here you go. It contained advice on what I should do as the president. How is it? Indeed, this could be a good revenge. You're looking better already. Keep it up. Then I noticed something. Huh? There's something written on the back too. On the back? It said to check the drawer in the president's office. The president's office, huh? I wonder what he hid there. Now that we've finished preparing, why don't you go check? Understood. I immediately went to the president's office and opened the drawer. Inside was an envelope, and I hesitantly looked inside. This is. I went back home and showed it to my mom immediately. Mom, I want you to see this. When I showed her, even she seemed surprised. When did he manage to do all this? Just like with the will earlier, with all this evidence, it's the end of the story. I can't believe it's this bad. People aren't always what they seem. By the way, have you heard from that man? Not a word back. While we were talking about this, Tyler called. Hello? When's the funeral? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, huh? Actually, I'm on a trip right now. Well, if I can make it, I'll come. That okay with you? It doesn't matter. You seem different? I think I'm the same as always. Does he not understand? It just shows that this was all he was. Oh right. I wanted to ask about the inheritance. Inheritance? I looked at my mom. She must have realized I was talking to Tyler. She nodded without saying anything. Ah, we just had the will opened. Huh? I didn't hear about that. Well, you weren't answering your phone. So how much was it? About $14 million. $14 million, huh? I see. All right then. The call ended. What did he say? He wanted to know how much the inheritance was. It always comes back to money. Well, I had a feeling. But it's all for nothing. Yeah, right. The next time we meet will be that man's end. The next day, my father's funeral began. As expected, Tyler didn't show up. After the funeral, as I was greeting the attendees, Tyler appeared. Hey! I made it. At least pay your respects to my father. He did a lot for you. It's too much trouble, I'll pass. I was about to lose it but managed to hold back. Huh? Finally dead, huh? Don't say such things here. Honestly, I never liked him. Always pushing drinks on me. Thinking he's doing me a favor by having me around. That's harassment, you know. Must have been hard for the company's employees too. Stop it. There are other people here. People around us started looking and murmuring. What? The one who needs to stop is you. Always looking down on me. That's the problem with you rich girls. Looking down? I never did such a thing. I had even tried hard at cooking and cleaning for Tyler's sake. Yet. By the way, the inheritance is what, $14 million? I'll be taking that. You don't have the right to say no. Just a useless piece of work, anyway. Let him think that for now. He'll regret it soon enough. Hey. Are you listening? If you don't like it, we can divorce, he said, throwing divorce papers at me. Such good timing. He was smirking, thinking I couldn't possibly divorce him. But he's underestimating me. I don't mind. Tyler was left gaping. I then left the funeral home. You'll regret this. You're a woman who can't do anything. Well, we'll see who ends up regretting. Thanks for coming just to say that. What? People are gathering. Maybe you should leave. Damn. You'll remember this. Tyler fled the funeral home like he was running away. He actually showed up. Did you see? Of course, he was making quite the scene. So, what are you going to do with that? Of course, I'm going to submit it right away. Good, hurry up. You have important things to do, don't worry about here. I'll be back soon. I immediately signed and headed to the city hall to submit the divorce papers. That would settle the divorce issue. Then, I went straight to my husband's company, following the advice written in the will. Without any hesitation and swung open the doors to the president's office. Tyler was unaware. He didn't know that I was the president of a company with 5,000 employees. The president of this company had also attended my father's funeral. Thank you for coming earlier, Irvine. Well, I don't know what to say at times like this. I came here today because there's something important I need to discuss. Important? Actually, it's been decided that I'll take over my father's company and become the president. That is quite something. So, all transactions with our company will be stopped. I'll give you the details later. Wait a minute, please! Everything you need to know is in this envelope. Please read it, but don't tell him yet. Goodbye. With that, my first act as president was done. Well, officially, it's just starting. Irvine tried to follow me, but I got into the car that came to pick me up. The next day, I was in the president's office. Then, Irvine came in with Tyler. Our employee has caused you a great deal of trouble. No need to apologize. Why is Kaya sitting there? Even if she's your wife, she is the president here. President? Yeah, we're divorced now, so not your wife anymore. Did you have a chance to look at the envelope from yesterday? Yes, I investigated immediately as you advised, and it was true. What are you talking about? Tyler, it's about you embezzling company funds. Tyler looked shocked. Did you think you wouldn't get caught? Don't underestimate me. So, what's going to happen to this man? Yes, we will be firing him and also considering a lawsuit for damages. That seems fair. But, I have your inheritance. I can pay with that. Are you serious? I should have rights to it, even if we're divorced. What are you even saying? Even Irvine seemed appalled. If you're a working adult, you might want to brush up on the law. Just you wait. Tyler started to approach me. However, he was restrained by a sturdy secretary familiar to me from my father's time. Hey! Let go of me! Causing a scene here is only going to be a nuisance. Get him out of here. Tyler was dragged out of the president's office. I never thought he'd be that bad. Being married to such a man is a stain on my life. So, about the contract. Let's discuss that once this matter has settled down. And there's one more thing. The responsibility for breaking the contract lies with Tyler, right? After a moment of silence. Ah, I see. Leave it to us. Thank you. Left alone in the president's office, I stroked the desk. Thinking of my father sitting here gave me a profound feeling. Now, as the head of this company, I must steer it correctly. Gosh, I'm so tired. Good job. Maybe I should have gone to see it. No way, if Mom was there, you definitely would have thrown a punch. I wouldn't do such a thing. That look on your face says otherwise. After that, while I was staying at my parents' house, Tyler showed up. What are you doing here? I'm in a mess because of you getting me fired. That's on you. Committing a crime and then having the nerve to say that. But there's still the inheritance. Still on about that? He must be remarkably foolish. Do you know what property division is? Of course. So, half of that belongs to me. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Inherited estate doesn't count. No matter how hard you try. What about that house then? That's originally my father's. Then my mom appeared from the back. You're here. I thought the worst person had shown up. How dare you mess with my daughter? How are you planning to take responsibility? Moreover, she was somehow holding a metal bat. What are you going to do with that? What do you want? Tyler started trembling. That's why. You better leave quickly. I can't stop Mom. Then Tyler ran out of the house, screaming about a murderer. My mom and I looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. Did you see his face? Of course. He was about to cry. It was the most refreshing experience of my life. However, this story didn't end there. Days later, an unexpected person came to visit. Why are you here? It was, surprisingly, my mother-in-law. I really needed to apologize. Apparently, Tyler had been after money since before we got married. Now that I think about it, there were signs. The unease I felt when I greeted my mother-in-law for the first time during Tyler's first overnight stay at our house, that was it. I'm so sorry. Please don't apologize. It's not your fault, mother-in-law. After that, my mom and my mother-in-law talked and seemed to become closer. Their good relationship continues to this day. Tyler is now buried in debt, working from dawn till dusk. The hell for him continues. I wish it lasts a lifetime. I need to work hard too. Now, I truly understand how great a president my father was. From now on, I would like to strive every day to surpass my father.